$100 million investment into Daily Wire Kids to fight back against Disney. $100 million. Did you know they had that kind of money? I didn't. Let's listen to Jeremy, so boring, talk about it.
So, if Harry's Razors is our statement to America that you don't have to give your money to woke corporations who hate you, and if the Daily Wire itself historically has been our way of saying to Americans, you don't have to give your money to woke corporate media that obviously hates you. Our movie company, Daily Wire Entertainment, has been saying, you don't have to give your money to woke entertainment companies that obviously hate you. Where does that leave us now? Well, now it leaves us with Disney. Disney. They're the gift that keeps on.
Daily Wire is coming after our kids. Ew, stop.
Giving. They gave us Gina Carano. I think we should give them a round of applause for that.
Ow, Gina.
And they learned absolutely nothing. They learned absolutely.
They gave us, I'm sorry, it just hit me. They gave us Gina Carano. Give us your Gina Carano. I'm just kidding.
And they learned absolutely nothing. They learned absolutely nothing from their defeat in Virginia because of the radicalization of children that was exposed by Luke Rosiak in Loudoun County. They learned nothing. And today, because of the great reporting of Chris Rufo, we got to see leaked footage from inside Disney of high-up Disney employees saying things like, we have a not-so-secret gay agenda. Saying things like, make sure I get this quote right.
How dare you, Jeremy? Get your facts in line, sir.
We're adding in queerness wherever we can. And that, quote, no one is trying to stop the producer who was doing so. Another executive within the company said, if anything, we don't have enough LGBTQIA representation in content made for very small children. So what are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to do the same thing we always do. We're going to build alternatives. Americans have enormous economic might. They just don't have any alternatives. The Daily Wire is building those alternatives. And today, I'm proud to tell you that we will be launching Daily Wire Kids.
Crazy. Also, can we talk about how this is like a Apple Tim Cook event? Like, what's going on right now? You're going to love the new iPhone. We not only upgraded the front camera, we upgraded the back camera.
And I want to be clear that DW Kids is not a direct response to the leak tape that we heard from Disney today. We've been working on this for months. Some of you in the room have been a part of it, but we've kept it pretty close. We haven't let most of you in the room know because it just wasn't ready. We wanted a huge announcement, and our plan was to roll out the announcement in November. Let's get past the politics of the midterm elections. Let's get past the Jeremy's Razors launch. Let's get past Terror on the Prairie. Let's get past What is a Woman. Let's get some open runway in front of us, and then let's announce DW Kids. That was the plan. Disney took that plan away from us because what they exposed today to the world is something that we've known all along, something that anyone working in the entertainment industry has known for a long time.
Of course. And what we've talked about on our channel for a very long time. And it makes sense. Again, I constantly say, why wouldn't they go for your kids? Why wouldn't they want to push because this is their religion, this is their ideology, this is what they believe to be true. So they will take it to the streets, they will proclaim it on the mountaintops. This is their gospel, this is what they believe to be the truth. And so this is what they want to do. And so it's encouraging and cool to see that there are other companies saying, you know what? I know you're Disney, I know you're ABC, I know you're Hollywood, I know you're Warner Brothers, I know you're like these companies, but we can create it too. And not only that, we have the platform, we have the camera equipment, and we have the people like Gina Carano in order to push and do the same stuff that you're doing. Now it's a war. Now it's a culture war.
They are hell-bent on taking your children away from you. But what they did today is they exposed it to the whole world. And we want to say there is an alternative coming. We've been working on it for months, which is why I'm proud to tell you that 3 months ago, we hired our first 2 writers under DW Entertainment, Eric Branscombe and Ethan Nicole. Now, these are 2 writers who came to us by way of the Babylon Bee, one of the funniest websites in America today. But before that, they were the writers on VeggieTales, the animated series. These guys have a deep history in animated kids content that has our values. They're 6 scripts in to our very first animated kids show, which is called Chilla Time.
Because we just chilling. We chilling with the chilling time. Is that the chinchillas? Oh my God. That looks incredible, actually. Maybe we'll do a live showing. I wonder if Daily Wire, though, are going to still like force you to pay and to watch it. So it's not like, it's hard to combat culture when you can only go after a select few people. It's too bad they don't have like a channel that you can just get on Comcast, which will probably never ever happen, but that's where we're at.
Chilla Time is a family of chinchillas who homeschool their kids. And they don't homeschool their kids.
Bunch of weirdo homeschoolers. But I guess it's 2022, and after the pandemic, people were like, homeschool is actually not for losers. It's actually awesome. The kids that I saw that were homeschooled growing up they didn't have the trauma I had, therefore they didn't know what funny was. So
kids in sort of the normal way. There's not a lot of sitting around at tables. There's not a lot of arts and crafts. There's completely immersive insanity. When the Chilla parents want to teach their Chilla kids about George Washington, suddenly the kids find themselves fighting in the Revolutionary War. But things don't ever...
Okay, so it's like a history thing. That's kind of cool. I wish they would also just talk about like normal stuff. It doesn't have to be about politics, you know?
Go quite like they're supposed to.
I honestly, I like that idea. I like the concept. I think it's cool. I think it's cool to teach kids in a certain way. It's cool to have an educational program, but that's very homeschool vibey too. I wish there was also just like a comedy, everyday life kid show that kids could just be kids and maybe teach them how to dream, maybe teach them how to imagine and what they can grow up to be like instead of just doing like the same old like conservative cartoon of here's George Washington. This is why we like George Washington, you know? And here's what the Constitution is, and here's the Bill of Rights, and why we should be focused on the Bill of Rights, and here's what a SCOTUS is. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on that. Let me know your thoughts.
Because, of course, we're the Daily Wire, and we're not making polemics. So our goal isn't to make a piece of educational content. No, our
that's
goal
refreshing.
is to make some really great kids content that kids actually want to see, but where they gain some perspective. They gain...
Okay. So a little bit of educational content, which is fine, but I don't know. I wish they would do education content and also just everyday content, you know, kid content that they could just veg out on too. Doesn't always have to be about George Washington. I don't know. Call me crazy.
A sort of baseline understanding of what we might call cultural literacy. So there's no proof that as they act out the Revolutionary War, anything will actually happen the way it happened in history. But there is you can count on the fact that it will be absolutely hilarious when it does happen. And more importantly, unlike Disney, which used to create wholesome content, which used to create content that parents could trust their children in front of.
Did Disney ever create wholesome content? I don't know. I don't know if they ever created wholesome content, but it was definitely content for sure. I don't know if I'm on the old way was better way. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on that.
Parents will be able to rest assured that their kids can watch DW Kids entertainment without having to review it first and then explain to their...
Great. They're just going to indoctrinate our children early on, and then they're going to all grow up and listen to freaking Ben Shapiro.
Kids, why mommy and daddy don't actually agree with that TV show later. Our second piece of DW Kids content is called Doodles with Noodles.
Oh. Okay. Doodles. Why is it doodle? I think like a poop or something. Like, I know, drawing too. And that animal almost looks like a turd. I don't know.
And while it looks like another animated show, it actually isn't. This is just the only art we had on short notice. Doodles with Noodles is actually a live-action puppet show.
Creep alert. I wonder if it's going to be like Sesame Street, or if it's going to be like a weirdo.
In which our very own Ethan Nicole will teach kids how to do drawings, alongside his friend, the puppet, Noodles. Unfortunately, while Noodles is very eager to participate in the drawing.
Can we all just admit that puppeteering is a little weird? Like, I get it, but who grows up to be like, I'm going to really get into puppeteering when I get older? I love it.
Process. His drawings never quite turn out.
Defcon, what up? Oh man, Doodles with Noodles. Just spit my coffee when he said, I almost spit out everywhere too. I'm like, the Doodles with Noodles, it almost sounds sexual. I don't want to go there, but come on down with Doodles with Noodles. You got your doodle and you got your noodle.
Out the way that Ethan intends. It's an absolutely hilarious concept, and we'll get to see kids actually learn.
Just like, I don't know. I just can't.
Learn skills that they don't have.
Every 13-year-old boy is like, noodle.
While, again, also being utterly entertained, which is our first goal with all of our entertainment content. Again, we're not making polemics. We're not making Hillary's Hard Drive Part 3, and we're not making Hillary's Hard Drive Part 3, the animated series for little kids. We're also not making, with our entertainment content, we're not making like conservative Christian content that people really want to see.
It's kind of refreshing. You did start out with we're going to talk about George Washington and you're going to talk about the Revolutionary War. But my main critique was like, I didn't want this to be like another educational purpose. There's good for education, but then there's also like, let's do some comedy. Let's do some silly stuff. Let's do some stuff that teaches the kid to dream or imagine, to play in their head, like wholesome content like that. Not just, we're talking about the Constitution today. Come on, kids, learn about a bill. I have a bill.
We're making content that has underlying values that conservative Christians all agree upon.
What does Ben Shapiro think of that?
But that they actually want to see. Now, with our kids' content, we'll play it much safer than with our adult content. Why? Because you're supposed to give kids a safe environment to be kids. You're not supposed to be challenging kids with radical new ideas. You're supposed to be able to trust your kids in a culture. The left has this phrase, they love to use it. It takes a village, they say, to raise a kid. If that ever meant anything, it should have meant a village is a collection of people who all share common values. It's supposed to mean that any adult can trust their child with any other adult.
No, and that's what they do mean. But again, the left, their religion, their ideology, their truth, their pillars of what they believe, their Bible, in which they read out of, whatever you want to call it, is the LGBTQ agenda, Black Lives Matter, like all, the Marxist ideology, like this is what they believe to be true. And so when they say it takes a village, they want public school teachers. They don't want things like the don't say gay bill, which has nothing to do with don't say gay, but that's what we're just going to say. We're not going to say it's don't say gay, Noodles with Noodles. So that's their ideology. It's their truth. It's what they believe to be true. And so they want the village to control it. They want the Hollywood elites. They want the politicians. They want the corporations to be on board. I'm not going to support McDonald's unless they pull out of Russia.
Send your kids to school and assume that they're not going to have radical gender and race theories shoved on them. But we don't live in that village anymore. In fact, the tape that we saw today of those Disney employees was a direct response to a bill passed in Florida. They say it's the don't say gay bill. They say that because they're liars. They say that because they like to frame things up so that people won't use their critical thinking and realize what's actually taking place. The bill in Florida is specifically meant to say that very, very young children, the youngest of the young, the kind of kids who might like Doodles with Noodles or Chilla Time, probably have a right to go to school.
Chilla Time. It almost sounds like a stoner show. Hey man, Chilla Time, man.
School and not hear radical gender and race theory.
Man, it's amazing. Tim Cook, Steve Jobs, Jeremy Boring. Jeremy is boring. Jeremy Boring. God, I just can't get it out of my mouth. Investing $100 million into DW Kids. Will it be good? And yes, I will. I will critique and I will review it because nothing gets past me. Let me know your thoughts on this. DEFCON1 comes in the chat and says, Oodles with Noodles, just spit my coffee out. I don't think you're alone in that, bro. I just don't. So many times I'm like, How many people did you run this name by? Because I don't think it was a lot.